you get to pick the card today. Pick a card, any card. Whatever one you want. All right, let's see who it is. Now, I know this person just put this card in last week, so now you know who you are, right, Jean Paul? You put it in here, so now you get to read. This is Jean Paul's third time here.
I was expecting another 3 or 4 weeks.
I know, or at least 3 or 4 months. People have put it in for months or a whole year and they don't get up here.
No.
But Miles picked the card.
Okay, see,
So
I'm all
it's
nervous
not.
and everything.
What, do you want me to read it?
No, it's fine.
See, I need to read it. So,
I am an actor after all.
you are?
Yes,
All right.
I
Well,
know.
let's
All right,
see.
so, why Spiritual Soul Center? Because it feels like home, the home that my dad built carried on. So, yeah. What have you discovered here? What are you hoping to find?
See, now
Yeah, I
take a
know,
breath.
that's it.
Take a
Yes, I know, because I'm tearing up.
breath. I know.
For a long time, I was spiritually bereft. I'm hoping to find peace as I have found love here. How does it feel, or how are you hoping to feel? Hoping it will feel. Like I walked into home. Spiritual togetherness, love, happiness, and peace. How will you enrich this space and our community? Volunteering to help in any way for my spiritual home. And it's my friend Liz Freeman, a lot of you probably know. She brought me a couple of months ago. For the past probably 2 years, I've been looking for a spiritual home, and from the minute I walked in the door, I knew it, because the energy of love and peace that just suffused this place when I walked in, it was just so welcoming and heartfelt that I knew I had to come back, because this was my home again, just like it was when my dad was preaching and being a minister, and it reminded me of that energy, and I wanted more of it. So thank you all. Love you all.
Let's take a deep breath and come into this place and come into this appreciation in our hearts for knowing that that's a power we have. Not that we are special in any way, but that we're simply an expression of what we came here being. We came here being love itself. We came here being that already. And sometimes it gets layered over by all of these things that are not love. And then what happens? What happens is what happened in the Mideast. What happens is what's happening in Ukraine. What happens is what's happening in our community when violence seems to be the only answer. We get separated from the love that we are. But we can know to our core that we are that, and then when we are an open channel to that others feel that. And it makes a difference. It draws them in. It draws them to themselves, actually, because it's what they are as well. And so let's know that. And knowing that for ourselves, we can realize that we make a difference with all the love that we share, with every vibration of openness and caring that we are. We invite someone else in. And then we invite someone else in. And pretty soon, there's this whole vibration happening. You have that power. We have that power together. Let's commit to that. Commit to living that. Commit to always answering the question, what would love do here? What would love do right here? And do that. How would love be and be that? It can be that simple. And it's a practice. And so at this time, with this prayer, we commit to that practice. We commit to that in ourselves. And we are ever grateful for for the source of us being love itself. And so it is. Amen.
I think that song was written for me. No.
It was.
Well, oh, thank you. The self-doubt part. That's the part I'm talking about. You know, it's one of the things I burn in the fire all the time. Like it's time to get rid of that self-doubt, right? But anyway, Renee and I were on vacation this past week for a little while. We took our camper up to Jordan Lake State Park, and
we went to the state fair, and we had a good time. We hiked a little bit, and we went to a restaurant in Apex called Scratch. Anybody ever been there? They have the best salad. I had a Buddha bowl. It was just so good. Anyway, we walk into this place, and we had been hiking, so we had our shorts on, and we didn't look very. We had a 3 o'clock lunch, so there was hardly anybody there. But I walk in, and there's this nice young man at the front desk, or at the thing there when you walk in, and blonde haired, probably 26 maybe years old, and he says to me, "Are you a meditator?" And I'm thinking, I forgot that I had this t-shirt on that said Spiritual Soul Center, music, message, and meditation. I had to go, oh yeah, there. And I was so taken aback I couldn't even answer him, and Renee answered for me and said, yeah, she meditates every morning. And I'm like, because I wasn't quite ready for that. And he said, we started having this conversation about meditation. Little did he know that I had been writing in my journal up until that point, that was Thursday, about using meditation as the topic today. And he starts talking about it and what people don't understand about it, and if they did understand, how they would embrace it more. And then Renee said, I want to go use the restroom, so she left. This is a true story. And we're standing there, we're still talking about it. And it was a fabulous conversation. I never expected to encounter a young man that would talk about meditation in the way he talked. And then Renee came back from the restroom, and we finally sat down. But I was grinning from ear to ear, thinking, oh, wow. Yes, I'm a meditator, and meditation it confirmed that this topic that I had been writing about was worthwhile talking about. Meditation. And we do it. It's part of every service at Spiritual Soul Center, right? We have music, obviously we have message, here it is, and we have meditation. And how important those three things are. It's like a three-legged stool. And that was from the start. And we always have this short time after the message. Usually I'm saying, hey, take whatever this is and let it sit with it for a while. Just sit for it for a while and sit together and just sit with that for a while. And inevitably someone will say, our meditations are too long here. They're too long. My mind goes everywhere. It's too much. And you want me to do that at home too? Like every day? Like I can't do that. Meditation is too hard. It's too hard. My mind wanders. I'm fidgety. All these things happen, and I can't meditate. But we don't realize that meditation is a practice. It's just like any other practice that we have. It takes practice. Okay? You don't say, well, I'm going to meditate, and then you meditate, and you're like, oh, that was nice. All right? And you're done, and you think you've checked all the boxes, and everything is finished. So the reason I selected meditation as a topic is I read this chapter in this Pema Chodron book called When Things Fall Apart. Anybody else have this book? There's probably several. I see you raising your hand. So there's a short chapter on meditation here that's that I thought was very useful in understanding what meditation is and how it works and what it really is. Let me read this. In practicing meditation, we're not trying to live up to some kind of ideal. Quite the opposite. We're just being with our experience, whatever it is. If our experience is that sometimes we have some kind of perspective, well, and sometimes we have none, well, that's our experience. If sometimes we can approach what scares us and sometimes we absolutely can't, then that's our experience. You see, meditation is not about getting to a place or perfecting meditation. Meditation is simply having the experience in that moment. And I say it's when we slow down enough, when we're here and we sit, when you're home and you sit, and you're not trying to control what comes up and what doesn't come up, you're simply sitting and having the experience of whatever that is. Like most people say, oh really, that's what meditation is about? Because that's sometimes not what we're taught about. To just be with the experience. Meditation is really a training ground It's a training ground to be able to be in the moment without resisting it or trying to control it. That's what it's for. You know, it's not about to get over the feelings or over the thoughts, but about to be with them. Let me read you this, also from Pema Chodron. We don't, listen to this, this is a very important line in here. We don't sit in meditation to become good meditators. Oh, yeah, right. We don't sit in meditation to become good meditators. We sit in meditation so that we'll be more awake in our lives. That's why we sit in meditation, so we'll become more awake. We sow the seeds in meditation that enable us to be more awake in the midst of everyday chaos. So we practice now for later. Right? We practice now for later. And it's a gradual awakening, and it's cumulative. That's what actually happens. It's gradual and cumulative. We don't just sit in meditation that it's all done. It's like any other practice. You want to practice painting? Right now I'm practicing painting, taking a class with Carolyn Faulkner. I am not a good painter right now. I'm practicing. The first class I took, I told Carolyn, I just want to understand the techniques. I don't know what it's going to look like. And I'm not attached to that, but I want to practice that. If you want to be more flexible in your body and you go to yoga to be able to stretch, you have to practice that over and over, right? It's gradual and cumulative. It's gradual. A potter, I used to do a lot of pottery. People want to go on the wheel and they want to throw the biggest vase and the biggest bowl. I'm like, pencil cups, people, pencil cups. That's the best way to learn pottery, on the wheel. And then you got a lot of pencil cups. It's okay. People love to have your pencil cups. And then you can practice glazing them. But that's how you become a good potter. You don't become a good potter by jumping over all of that. You practice. You practice. You want to become a nurse? Any nurses here? Yes, I know we have several. You had to practice a lot. You had to take a lot of classes. You had to take exams and there was a lot of practice involved with that. It just didn't happen because you wanted to be a nurse or a bricklayer or an electrician or a good golfer or anything. And meditation is no different. It takes practice to get to the end result, which is to be more awake in life. More awake in the chaos that can be life. Okay, does that make sense to you? Yeah. So the question is not, do you want to be a good carpenter? It's, are you willing to practice to get to where you want to be? And the same question is with meditation. It's not, do you want to be a good meditator, but do you want to be more awake in life? That's the question. I mean, you can answer it either way. You can answer it either way. So it's a practice. Meditation, Pema says, is an invitation not to get carried away, to see clearly what's going on with our thoughts and emotion, and also that we can let them go. That's the practice. To see clearly how we operate, because we know how we operate. To see clearly at the start of meditation is kind of this dance. We're in meditation, Paula says, or wherever you are, you're sitting in your chair and all of a sudden your mind starts going. And it's doing this, some of them call monkey mind, I don't care what you call it, it starts going, and it starts going, and pretty soon maybe you get mad about something, maybe you get depressed, maybe you get sad. But you realize that's how it works. That's how you work. That's how you work. But you are not that. Like, you are not your thoughts and you are not your emotions. You are the one who can observe that. You know, Michael Singer in his Untethered Soul talks about that very clearly. That we are not our thoughts and our emotions. We are the ones back of that can observe that. And once we see clearly that during meditation, we can begin to let those things dissolve. Not to get beyond them, because certainly we want to experience them, or we are experiencing them. And to know that I am not that I can step back and I can observe that. And once I take the energy away from that, guess what? It dissolves. It dissolves. I don't dissolve it, it dissolves. Because I've taken the energy away from it. So the first part of meditation is simply seeing clearly enough to see that that's how it works. That's how we work as humans. That's how we work as humans. We notice the way we are. We notice our doubt. We notice our grasping. We notice wanting it to be the way we want it to be. We notice our anger when it isn't that way. We notice our frustration. We notice our grief. We notice our joy. We notice our excitement. And then we notice that we aren't that we can observe that, and we can be at ease. Sounds wonderful, doesn't it? That's the possibility in meditation. That's the possibility. Meditation is about opening and relaxing with whatever arises without picking or choosing. That's it. Not fighting it. Not saying, well, I thought in meditation I wasn't supposed to be thinking about anything, and now I'm thinking about all these things and I don't. No. Then you observe that. Well, I get really fidgety. Well, then fidget. And be aware of that. Look at my hands. They're just going like this. And be aware of it. Stop struggling against your thoughts and realize that honesty and humor are far more inspiring and helpful than any kind of solemn religious striving for or against something. The point is not to try to get rid of thoughts, but to see the true nature of thoughts. Thoughts will run us around in circles if we buy into them, but really they're like a dream or an illusion. They're not solid at all. They're just, as we say in this Buddhism, she's saying, they're just thinking. Thoughts are just thinking. Thoughts are just thinking. Can you imagine that? Even my word, thoughts are just thinking. That's all they are. So the dance of meditation it goes something like this, and I think of it as a dance because it made sense to me. When I sit in my chair, okay, I take a deep breath, right? I get still, and I watch my breath, and then it starts. Pretty much then. The thoughts and thinking, the emotion of the moment. Maybe even, I've just got up out of bed and I've got my cup of tea that Renee made, so it's the perfect temperature because she was up a half an hour earlier. And I'm sitting in the chair and I'm feeling this, and then some thought comes into my mind about my day. All right? That happens. Oh, there it is. There it is. Or the cat comes. Meow, meow. All right, I know you want my lap. All that. All of that. Noticing. There's the thought. There's the thought. It's just thinking. It's just thinking. To remind myself in that moment, it's just thinking. Back to the breath. In and out. Just thinking. Just thinking. And it dissolves. You should try it. It can dissolve. It could come back in the next moment, roaring right at you. But it will dissolve. And that's the practice. And then coming back to the breath, the object, right? To bring out, we always have it with us. That's the great thing about breath. Some people use a candle and the flame, and they have a special cushion, put their legs a certain way. I always have my breath with me. In the car, on the airplane, in the camper while it was pouring down rain and it was leaking in the one window because the seal broke. But breath, well, it's just thinking. And in this case, it's just leaking. It's just some water. Right? That's all it is. Back to the breath. That's the practice. That's the dance of meditation right there. Doesn't matter. It's not the same subject. It's different every time. But that's the dance. Become still. Breathe in and out. The mind wanders. It wanders some more. Just thinking. Breath again. Back to center. That's it. It's very simple, isn't it? It's not complicated. And it doesn't matter if your mind is wandering, if you're fidgety. Just do that. I think the biggest thing about meditation is that we don't clear a space for it in our life. We don't clear a space for it. We clear a space for grocery shopping. Some of us clear a space for working out at the gym. We clear space for things that are important to us, taking care of our kids, yoga, a music lesson, whatever it is. We make space for the important things. And the first thing I'd say about meditation is maybe we haven't created a space for it. Not a space in our house, I'm talking space in my life. A time to be still with my coffee cup. You know, we did a great meditation out in hiking. You know, Renee and I don't do this when we hike, unless we see like a really big bird. You know, then we're like, oh, in fact, we were walking along this pathway. I guess I'm digressing here. We were walking along this pathway in the woods. We were at, I forget what nature preserve it was, and this hawk, I mean, we probably were, 25 feet away from this hawk. We're walking down the path and like, right across from us, this hawk takes off. We're like, Renee, look at that hawk, you know, because it just came out. But because we saw it, we were talking, but we don't talk much unless we're pointing out a really bright green fungus that's growing on a log, or, you know, something just really amazing about a root or a tree, the way it grew, but just to observe, to be in that is also meditation. To not try to create that moment. Like, here we are hiking, and how far are we, and did we hit that trail, and oh yeah, we did look at a map every once in a while, but to be in the moment. This is the result of meditation in the chair, is that when you are in your life, you are actually inhabiting the moment without trying to create it. There's a difference. Like, for instance, think about being in a football game or a concert. When you are like really cheering for your team, or you're jumping up and down singing, like you are creating that moment. But have you ever just stopped in the midst of all that and just experienced what it felt like to be in the moment? Have you ever done that? It's the most amazing thing, I think, just to be in that moment. To look around and see all these crazy people just cheering, or people dancing, but you're just like right there. Like, wow. This is amazing, to just be in the moment without creating it, without contributing to it, but to experience the moment. That's an advantage, and that's what comes out of a practice of meditation. Because we learn how to be in the moment. We can learn how to be in the moment when someone is laying on their deathbed in the same way. We don't have to hide from it. We don't have to run from it. We don't have to try to take care and make sure this or make sure that. Are they hot? Are they cold? We can be with that. We can just be in that exquisite moment. If you've ever been with somebody as they passed on into the next life and are able to be there, it's an amazing moment. It is tender and just amazingly beautiful. Amazingly beautiful. And I believe that with this practice of meditation, this practice of being with whatever shows up and knowing that I'm not my thoughts and emotions and being able to be present to it, is practice for those sorts of things. Is to be present to it. Maybe it's your kid's soccer game. That to be present, to not worry about if they're good or they're not good, or if they've hurt themselves or not. They're not, no, that's not a good example, right? Hurt themselves. If they're enjoying themselves, they're sitting on the bench, if they're out in the field, but just being there. Like, you'll never have that moment again. Ever. It won't be the same. It will never be the same again. And to show up for it, even when it's uncomfortable, there's something beautiful about that. There's something beautiful about that. And I think meditation allows us to get there. It allows us to get there. I also thought about like being at Grand Central Station. Have you ever been to Grand Central Station in New York? I mean, it is a bustling place, right? I mean, things are happening at that train station. And to just stand in the middle of that place and experience Grand Central Station. It's like, whoa. Or any monument or any place where we're so busy people and looking at maps and reading stuff, and we miss and taking pictures. Renee and I did not post pictures on Facebook of our vacation.
Although I did show one picture to Crystal of me and a stuffed avocado. Yeah, but we didn't post it on Facebook. Like, we had the experience. And I'm not saying you shouldn't post on Facebook, don't get me wrong, or that you're bad for posting on Facebook. I'm saying that when we overabundantly share on Facebook, are we really missing and living the moment? Instead of taking a picture of it for later? You know, just, you decide. You decide. I want to be in the moment. I want to inhabit the moment. And what I'm suggesting, and what Pema Chodron is suggesting, is that the practice of meditation allows us to be there more often. Because we're training ourselves. It's the training ground to be present to life. So, meditation. My final notes really are, slow down, slow down. It does require a slow down, I believe. Whether you're moving and hiking, or whether you're sitting in a chair, or whether you're standing in the middle of the stadium. To notice your mind, to notice your emotions, to realize that if I'm in angst about something, that I can step back from it, that I am not my mind, I am not my thoughts, I am not my emotions. I can let them dissolve and I can experience this peace in the midst of this. And I can have the full experience of this, no matter what. No matter what. So I'll remind you of this quote that Pema had. We don't meditate to become good meditators. That's not the goal. We sit in meditation so that we become more awake in life. I hope that's helpful to you. And now, we're going to practice together. So if you fidget, it's okay. If one eye opens, it's okay. If you think, is it over yet? It's okay. If you have to get up and go to the bathroom, do that. But do it in a way that you are aware and awake. And that's the practice, all right? So we're going to sit today. So take a deep breath in and out. Get comfortable in your chair. Remember, you can use your breath as a tool. You can allow it to bring you back to center, back to that place. Remember, if thinking comes up, if thoughts come up, experience them. Don't try to make them go away. And at the same time, remind yourself, just thinking. It's just thinking. That anger is just thinking. That story is just thinking. So take one more deep breath in and out. And let's just sit for a little while. Let's sit together in the practice of meditation.
This very moment is the perfect teacher, and it's always with us. Just seeing what's going on, that's the teaching right there. We can be with what's happening and not disassociate. Awakeness is found in our pleasure and our pain, our confusion and our wisdom, available in each moment of our weird, unfathomable, ordinary, everyday lives. And so it is. Amen. I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Sleeping, I dreamed I held you in my arms. Yeah, let her rip. When I woke, dear, I was mistaken, and I hung my head and I cried. You are my son. My only sunshine, you make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Oh, please don't take my sunshine away. You told me once, dear, you really loved me.